Ahoy there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I got a new hat and I am going to show it off. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Katie can't read. I'm Katie, I can read, and I've been lying to you this whole time. I am so deeply sorry. Today, we're gonna do my first ever book talk. Today we're gonna talk about King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. So first we're gonna do a little non-spoilery thoughts, and then I'm going to put like a hard intermission and be like, hey, spoilers start here, and we're just gonna go straight into spoilers because, oh my god. Here we go. King of Scars is about our King Nikolai and his struggle with his internal demons, quite literally, and just the effects of how the Grisha Civil War, I guess, Rovkin Civil War, is that the term that they use? Can't remember. How that whole war 3 years prior has affected the beginning of his reign as king, and it also plays into Nina's journey post Crooked Kingdom. I cried. So I loved it. It's probably in my top 3 favorite Leigh Bardugo books that I have read so far. I'm totally whipped for her. I will read anything she writes for the rest of eternity. I'm gonna read Ninth House either this month or next month. I loved it, and I'm done talking about it without spoilers, so here we go. Alright, so here's the spoiler dish. He's freaking back. I didn't see it coming, but like in the good way, not like in the wow, that had no build up. Like, it had build up, and I heard of the Darkling, of course. But wow. Oh my god. What the heck? I can't believe he's back. I liked the Darkling as a villain. I don't understand people shipping him with Alina from the original trilogy because that's really toxic, and he's the villain. So when he died, I was like, yes, this was a satisfying villain arc. I thought he was an excellent villain. He had motives that I was like, felt that. And he was evil and manipulative and cruel and cool. At the same time, he was really awesome. And I was like, yes, cool villain, and then he died, and I was like, good ending, you know? Way to go. If he had been like somehow like switched to the good side, I would have been a little confused. I'd been like, that came out of nowhere. His return is terrifying, and I'm excited to see where it goes in Rule of Wolves, and I'm really scared about it in the best way possible. And wow, Nikolai's journey of fighting this monster was honestly just like a little confusing for me when it's like the mid-break where they enter the fold and get taken by the saints that are alive. I was just like a little confused. I liked it, but I was a little confused, and I had to like reread like passages to understand what was going on. Commander Zoya Nazielensky has my entire heart. She's so cool. She has this energy that I want from every female character in the entire world, which is, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am powerful, and I don't care what you think about it. She knows who she is. She knows that she is just this powerhouse of power, beauty, and strength, and just owns it, and yet has this backstory that broke my heart, and you can see just how it shapes how she feels about things, and it was so cool. And Nikolai and his whole struggle with his internal monsters and his struggle of being this new king and how he's taking over the throne and how he's dealing with it. That was all so good. And my favorite part of this book was actually just like King Nikolai's like inner circle, you know, that was like Genya and David and Timar and Talia, like Zoya, their inner circle was my favorite part. Every time that squad was in a scene, I knew I was gonna like it, because they all bounce off each other so well, and you can tell that they've been working together for a long time, and they all genuinely like each other. And so it was like that was really fun for me. I love friend groups. I think that's my favorite thing to read in a book, and I feel like that's something Leigh Bardugo really nails in every single one of her books, is she creates really strong sets of friends. Now let's talk about Nina. So Nina's actual story really in Fjerda wasn't really something I really cared about. Like her storyline of freeing all of the women, all the Grisha women from this factory where they were getting tested on was great, and it was super good, like, for her development to do this, but I just really was like, it's not my priority. It wasn't my priority in this. Her earliest chapters where she's working at this fishing place and she's undercover, but she keeps thinking about Matthias and how she's been carrying his body around for like almost a year at this point, and how she keeps hearing his voice in her head was genuinely putting me on the verge of tears, because they deserved so much better. And I know his death was beautiful and is super poignant, whatever, but that scene where she buries him finally, I was literally sitting in my bed just like bawling like a baby, and I don't ever cry. I cry like 3 times a year, and it got me. And then she sees his wolf. I need a moment. It was just so good. My only like real complaints about this book, because I always have a few, it's like the only things that kept it from having a perfect 10 out of 10 on my personal rating scale, I gave it 9 out of 10 and 4 out of 5. But the only thing that got it away from getting perfect scores in both was that I felt like, even though I knew Nikolai was going through something, I felt like some of his personality had gotten pulled out. But I also really liked it because you really get to see who he was as an internal person compared to how he is as an external person. Because in the original Grisha trilogy, it's all through Alina's point of view, so we never see anyone else's thought process. It is just her thought process, and she sees Nikolai as this charismatic, outgoing prince pirate hero man, and who never ever has anything wrong going on. Like, he's always thinking, he's always one step ahead, but his internal monologue shows that he struggles and he has real fears, and he doesn't always know the right answers. He's just going with what answer he thinks is best, and I feel like that is so powerful for a character that we didn't know so much about internally. And wow. I also, the thing that really didn't give it the stars was that I just didn't really care too much about Nina's plot. I really loved her grief, and I loved her struggle, and I loved every time she mentioned all of her Six of Crows friends, except she never mentions Wylan, which I was kind of like, that's BS. Wylan was as part of the group as everyone else. She mentions Matthias a lot. She mentions Inej the second most, Jesper the third most, Kaz the fourth most. No, she mentions Kaz a lot more than that. But anyway, she mentions those 4 like crazy, but she has not mentioned Wylan once. And that's fine, you know, like, it's fine. We're not always close to everyone in the friend group, but like, come on. Just erase my favorite from the group, okay? Why don't you? After she buried Matthias, I could care less. I was like, graveyard, pff, factory, pff, convent, pff, like, all of that was lame to me. I did like her friend Henny. I liked her. I thought she was great. And I do think that they should get together in the next book. But I will say, I trust Leigh Bardugo. But if it seems at all rushed in terms of like Nina's grief, I will not be happy about it. Because losing a love like that is really hard. And I think if Nina moves on too fast, it'll invalidate something. I do really want them to get together. I think that would be super fun. I kind of want it to be like in the way that you like see at the end of Crooked Kingdom with Kaz and Inej, where they're just, I think about that scene a lot, where they have this understanding that I do really care about you and I would like to make this work, but I'm going through something right now and we'll figure it out. That's kind of what I want for them, and less like immediate making out, you know? Give it more. The thing I didn't love about it was I didn't love how long Zoya and Nikolai were in the shadow fold. I thought it was just, it felt like a lot of things that I didn't understand that were going on and that I couldn't picture, and I was like, ah, and it was the kind of things in fantasy that stress me out. So that was the only thing I didn't like. I still enjoyed their internal struggles through it. I loved Zoya learning how to channel lightning through a sword. Like, that was so cool, because I'm a sword girl. I love swords. I liked the whole thing with Isaac being a decoy. I loved that. The other thing I didn't like was there weren't enough moments of Jenya and David being cute together. And like, I know that they're not like the most affectionate because David's like super quirky and nerdy, but that's all I want in Rule of Wolves, is for them to have some cute moments, okay? I loved it. I loved it. I can't wait for Zoya and Nikolai to finally realize that they're in love with each other. Idiots. Stupid idiots. They're in love with each other and they just don't want to admit it. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. 5 things that I want to see in Rule of Wolves, the sequel that comes out in March, which is terrible because that's 6 months from now, and I know it's not as bad as most people who read this right when it came out and they had to wait like a year, but like 6 months is a long time. Zoya and Nikolai finally get together. That's number 1. Number 2, Jenya and David being cute. Number 3, this one is one that I wanted to happen in this book, and the fact that it didn't kind of made me a little sad, but I really want Nina to adopt Trassel the wolf and allow him to like be a part of her life, I guess. That makes no sense, but I really want her and the wolf to work together, and for him, Matthias's legacy to exist through that wolf in her, and for her to have that bond and have that part of him still in her life. 4, I want to see the dark just go down. I want to see him die. And 5, I want epic cameos. I want Alina and Mal to have a cameo. I want Alina to have a cameo where she gets told the Darkling is back, and for her to be like, thought I killed him. I really would like for Nina to have to stow away on Inej's ship, and that would be awesome. I think maybe the head of the Vanek estate should have to make a deal, you know, to get funding for the Ravka. Island and Jesper. You know, even like if Kaz showed up, I would kind of go crazy. I would lose my mind, especially because canonically, Kaz and Nikolai are kind of like allies / friends. So I think it wouldn't be out of the question if they all showed up and were like, hi, we're here, trick or treat. That would be epic. Have any thoughts about King of Scars? Please leave them in the comments below. I loved this book and I would love to talk about it. Even if you didn't love this book, I would love to talk about it because I thought it was quite the conversation starter of a book. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you in the next chapter. Also, did you notice my spooky pumpkins? It's spooky season and I have a pumpkin lantern. Womp womp.